If you struggle with coming up with designing details for your base or just want to learn some simple tricks to make your build stand out, then you are in the right place. Today I want to teach you 10 building designs that will spruce up your base and make it look nicer. They are simple to make, and I personally have used them in most of my builds. That being said, let's get right into it. So the first one we're going to do is going to be our expert wooden support. Now this is pretty cool for doing overhangs or building decks or anything that you're going to be using like these log pulls for. You can replace with the support. So how we're going to start this is just build your support however high you're going to want it. Let's just say it's too high. Then we'll go ahead and grab our wood beams and we'll make a cross. And right now the building for this, it looks like, you know, kind of tedious, kind of a mess, but don't worry, these items will not stay, just the posts will. So after you get those posts down, grab the wooden door, and we're going to line our posts with these wooden doors here. And you can kind of see that they're clipping right to the edge. That's what we want. Sometimes you might have trouble with it, but just adjust your snapping points. Alright, so after we have our wooden doors down, we can grab our wood beams and just snap them to where they're snapping halfway in between the door. So now that those are snapped in between the doors, we can grab our wood pole 1 meters. And we're just going to make a cross shape with those. And then we can go ahead and grab our wood pole 2 meter and rotate them to where they're facing the same angle as the beam that you're placing it on. That way we're creating kind of a rounded shape here. Alright, after that shape is complete, we can go ahead and delete all these doors and all these extra beams on the ground. So now that we have that completed, we can grab the wood pole 2 meters and go ahead and just finish building those supports up. And at the top you'll probably have to use a 1 meter beam to finish it off. But there we go. Now we have a thick wooden support beam, and let's just compare that to our log pole. So you could just place a log pole like that and call it good, but using a support like this, in my opinion, just looks a lot cleaner and just adds a little bit more detail. It looks thick. Sometimes you see pictures of builds and you see these big wooden poles, and yeah, that's how you make it. For number 2, we're going to be making a detailed window. And to start off with, just say we have a wall that is 3 wide by 2 high. Go ahead and grab our wood walls and just do this how we would create a regular window. So there we go, we got a regular window setup going, and we're going to be adding some wall trim, or some window trim. So if we grab the wood beam 2 meters, we can add trim around this window, and then on the inside of the wall, what we're going to want to do is overlap the trim with your wooden beams. So get it lined up as close as possible and just outline the inside of the window with your trim. And then we're going to grab the wood shutters and place your wood shutters on the outside part of the window. Go ahead and open them up. Grab the dark wood arch, place these on the inside of the window. So there we have a detailed window, but we're gonna go a step farther. Grab your wood beam 1 meters and line these on all 4 corners. After you do that, we can grab our ashwood arched wall, place these on the bottoms of the bottom wood beams. That way we have kind of a cool look. Wood floor 1 by 1, something maybe like that can hold some pots or something like that. On the top wooden beams, we're going to go ahead and grab a shingle roof ridge 26 and change the snapping point to the bottom. That way it's clipping kind of through the wall. Boom. Now it's even more detailed, and if we want to go a step further, we can grab a wood beam 1 meter, change the snapping point to edge 1, place it right there in the middle, come to furniture, and now we are going to be grabbing the wall lantern, change the snapping point to attach, and there we go. Now there's a super detailed window in Valheim. These windows look awesome. They look amazing on any of the walls that you place, and you can get even more creative with it by changing up the types of wood, stuff like that. Number 3, we're going to be doing something a little bit interesting. Imagine that this is a full foundation block, and we want to add something to this foundation so that it's not so bland. Something that we can do is we can break one of these bottom blocks out here and grab a stone arch, place it kind of like that. Then we're going to grab our caged walls and place them in the middle. So I kind of think that this could be used as like a stone floor drainage, or like something that's going into a sewer system, even though that probably doesn't exist in this world. But if you have a full foundation, you can add a couple of these into your floor, and it just kind of adds some extra detail to your foundation. For number 4, we're going to be building a better doorway. So instead of just a plain old door, we're going to be doing something a little bit more different. So go ahead and break this as you were building a door, something kind of like that. And what we're going to do for this one is grab our wood walls, place them down so that it's a half step inside the wall. We're going to place an ash wood door just like that. Go ahead and fill the sides with your walls. After that, we can grab our ashwood arched wall, and if we can get it to snap, there we go. So we have that for now, but something that we can do to make this stand out even more is grab our ashwood pole, 2 meter. Go ahead and place the trim along the outside, and grab our ashwood arched wall, and just so that it looks like it's rounded right there. And there we go. We have a really easy way to make way more detailed doors in the game. You could do this with the square walls as well, but the ashwood door, having that rounded curved ashwood wall on the outside, or arch wall on the outside, and on the inside is your door, just adds a little bit of depth to your wall. And pair this with the detailed window and some more depth to your walls, and you're just gonna have a really cool looking wall. Alright, so pretend like we have a full wall here, some detailed windows, a cool door archway. Say you want to add something onto your wall to make a lamppost. Well, this is a pretty cool lamppost design that I actually really enjoy, but I want it to be higher up on my wall so that the lamppost is kind of above the player character. So what I like to do is I like to put a wood pole 1 meter kind of off to the side of where the lamppost is going to be. Then we'll put these 2 beams right here, break that one, put a vertical beam, snap it to that, and then put a horizontal beam like that, use an ashwood arched wall. Now we have a cool looking arch, and if we grab our wall lantern, it will snap to the back like that, and we have a really sweet lamppost design. It's really simple, really easy to make, and it looks pretty cool. It has a nice look to it. So if you have like a 3 wide wall like this, we can turn it into a 4 wide and also add some depth to it. A couple different ways, but we're going to do a simple way here, just adding depth. Alright, so how we're going to do this, after you put trim on the wall, you can go ahead and overlap that trim just like we did with the detailed window, and make sure it's as close as possible. And then you can grab the wood walls and come up with it. And then we can go ahead and add trim to the outside. and then finish off that trim on the top. And you see this is already adding much more depth to the build. And then you can even do something crazy like add these dark wood arches like that. Add a dark wood beam in the middle. And we have a crazy amount of depth going on in this wall right now. And if we want to get even crazier with it, we can add a decorative wall like this all the way across the bottom and add some more wood beams. Look at that. Isn't that a really nice looking wall? Yeah. Alright, so for this next one, I wanted to show you a new wall design that I just figured out that I think is pretty simple to make and looks pretty nice. So say we have a section of wall that's 3 wide and 3 high, and you could have multiple sections of wall, but say just one section is like this. We're gonna go ahead and add trim to that section, and then just like we have been doing with the other decorative things, we're gonna add trim to the outside of the wall, just like that. And then we're gonna grab the 45-degree wood wall, and we're gonna do something like that. And then we can grab the wood 45-degree wall inverted and do something like that. And then we're gonna do the same thing to the other side. You might have to change your snapping points a little bit just so that it fits in better. You might have to come in from a different angle as well. Something like that. Sometimes it doesn't want to snap, but you can just place it freely like that. And then do the same thing to the other side, get the inverted ones. And if you can't get them to snap, you might just have to break another piece to get it to work. Sometimes it just doesn't like to cooperate. Placed it kind of freely on that bottom one, and we have kind of a wooden X shape. And if you actually make this taller and wider, the X can be like perfectly centered on the wall, or however you want to do it. But I just wanted to show you that you could use these wood 45-degree walls and 26-degree walls to add depth to your walls and stuff like that, and not just for your roof pieces. So for this next one, it's just going to be adding depth to our stone walls. So say we have a section of stone wall and you think it just looks kind of plain. Well, a really cool thing that we can do with this is come over to your stone wall and just go ahead and break some pieces of it. And then we're going to go to building, grab some core wood 2-meter beams, and go ahead and press shift to move it freely. And we're going to want to place it more towards the back of the stone, but not all the way. And that's a layer of depth that we just added right there. Then we can grab our stone arches and place those. And there we go. We kind of have like a cool wood slash stone design going on here. And you can do this, you know, coming all the way down from something, and then you can line some trim on it, or you can do a lot with this, but it's just something that I wanted to show you, maybe give you an idea for some details that you can do to a stone wall. Alright, for this next one, we're going to get a little bit more complicated, a little bit more detailed, but I want to show you how to build our previous wall and make it a little bit more cleaner by mixing ash wood and wood together, and show you how cool the combination looks. So to start off with, we're going to just place regular walls. We'll do a 3x2 like how we have been doing. And then instead of regular wood trim, we're going to be placing ash wood poles. And then go ahead and line that trim up just like that. Then we can go ahead and line the top as well. So for this one, instead of regular wood, we're going to be using ash wood quarter walls. On these sides of the beams. And after we got that, we can let's just make a cool window. So for this, we're going to need regular wood walls, and then you can place your half walls in the middle just like that. And then we're going to be using ashwood beams 2 meter. And that's going to be our window trim. And on the inside, we will line our window with the ashwood poles. And we're basically making the same window that we did earlier, but we're adding it to a more detailed wall just to see what it looks like and see how much more detail this adds and pretty much how simple it is to add. Then we'll grab our wood shutters, go ahead and open them up, and our dark wood arches. There we go. And then ashwood beams. And for this one we can leave the bottom ones out because we'll do something different there. And our roof ridge 26 degree. Snap it to edge. This one is going to be bottom 3, just whichever one gets it to snap in there. Then we'll grab an ashwood beam, change it to edge 1, furniture, wall lantern, attach, and we have a cool lantern right there. And then we can grab our, let's see, our ashwood decorative divider, put that along the bottom. Don't forget to put trim on the outsides, just like that. And don't forget to add your ashwood arch over the top, just like that. And actually, let's do something. Well, at that point we're basically covering up all the wood, but let's see what it will look like with some complementary banners. Black would look nice, but let's go with something a little bit more colorful. We'll choose blue. So we can place these. We'll try to get them perfectly. Cursor in the middle. So like that. Cursor in the middle. And we'll replace those arches and see how it looks. Look at that. We have a pretty highly decorated wall with some things that basically everything that I showed in this video up to this point I have taught how to make this wall. So the window in here, the trim and stuff like that, and mixing the wood with the ashwood, it just looks really nice. So alright, so for this last design tip, I want to show you how to make a simple overhang on your walls just to add a little bit of depth. So for this one, we're just go with ashwood poles. You can use any sort of beams for this, but then we're going to use an arch for where the overhang is going to come out. So right now we have it looking like this. And then we can finish off the top or the bottom of it like that. Place a wood floor in here. And then we're going to box it out. And let's actually make this wood wall one higher. Maybe even 2 higher. So now we should have something looking like that. And you can go ahead and box this out as well. And after that is done, let's see. And after that is done, we can grab a wood beam 1 meter, just like this, go on either side, and grab a 2 meter beam. And then we're going to finish off the roof. And then you can line the roof with your 45-degree ashwood walls. And we'll give it a little peak with something like the 45-degree beam, and you're just going to scroll out by 1, change the snapping point to bottom, and it gives it a little bit of a peak there. And then we can put a wood beam in the middle of that peak and finish the lining off just like that. So now we can grab our arches and do something like that for the front, and then grab our, let's see, caged walls, and this is going to finish out our window on the front. And then we can finish out the sides of the window with something like an ash wood wall. Alright, so there we have a nice little overhang on the side of a wall, and there's many different designs that you can do for this. And actually, let's just do something cool. And let's see, we'll add that there, and we'll come down with, let's see, we'll add 2 1-meter beams on the side, add a 1-meter pole coming down here, 2, break that top one, put a horizontal coming this way, add an ashwood arched wall at the bottom, and then we can add our lantern. And there we go. And there you have it. There is 10 designs to spruce up your base a little bit, and I hope you guys learned something. And if you did, let me know. And if you liked those designs, let me know in the comments. And if you would like to see more videos like this, please also let me know. I'm trying to do more build videos because it's what I love about this game, and it's what I like to make. So thank you for watching. I'm Bear of Curses, and I will see you next time.